It's a ghost town, we're in this together. They're closing all the stores down, we're heading for shelter. It's all war now, they'll always remember. We're locking all our doors down, we're sticking together. It's a ghost town, we're in this together. They're closing all the stores down, we're heading for shelter. It's all war now, they'll always remember. We're locking all our doors down, we're sticking together. It's all ghost town.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. You've built a love, but that love falls apart. Your little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell him goodbye. Sometimes you wonder if this fight is worthwhile. The precious moments are all lost in the tide. We're swept away, and nothing is what it seems. The feeling of belonging to your dreams. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell him goodbye. But you can't find the words, the sense of magic, the beauty that's been when love was wilder than the wind. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. To your heart before you tell him goodbye. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart.
just living true. No doubt in my mind, and these changes, they take time, you'll find. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world, but Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. I know that you accept me as your son, but that doesn't mean your daughter ever did run. I'll always be close to you, no matter what. I love you and no doors are ever shut. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world, but Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world, but Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. But Dad, I'll always stay your little girl.
Hi, welcome to CLACCA ULC Sunday Church. My name is Mr. Rev Comrade Rowley, and I would just like to acknowledge that the land we're meeting on is of the Gadigal and the Wangal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. I recognise sovereignty, treaty, and social justice has never been ceded. Just a few announcements I would like to make before we get started. So good news. CLACCA ULC has finally got a hearing date for our fight to stop transphobic bullying happening to me and my church, to me and CLACCA ULC. Essentially, the other party hasn't been turning up, so they're allowing the hearing date. They're allowing the hearing date on the 18th of November 2020. Which is good news. We've got to get the evidence in. We've got to get the evidence in by the 8th of June, and we've also got to make our church is also going to make a decision. Church is also going to make a decision as to whether or not we're going to go through with pursuing an extension for our legal protection as well. So essentially that's where we're at because the transphobic bully had lodged in response to when we seek to get our legal protection from our legal right to stop transphobic bullying with an intervention order. They lodged a transphobic cross claim and we have been successful. We've been successful in terms of fighting for the case to be heard, because he re-pursued the cross claim to prevent the case from being heard. And I can't say. Well, legally, I can't say who it is. It is, however, the good news is that we do have a hearing date. There's just a date in terms of the hearing to revoke the cross claim. So that is good news. That is good news. News and um, we and the reason why we have to make a decision in terms of the reason why we have to make a decision in terms of whether we want to extend um, our our legal protection action is because it's due to expire. It's due to expire before it's due to expire before the hearing date. So we have to make a decision in terms of whether we want to extend it or not. So essentially, it boils down to it all depends on whether or not he makes for it. It all depends on whether or not the bullying stops or not. Not essentially that's what it depends. Given what happened to us at the hospital, given hospital, primarily we need some sort of legal protection, protection in order to stop any further attacks from happening without without our legal rights being violated. If that kind of makes sense. But essentially, I will put details up on our CLACCA ULC Facebook page for in relation to the hearing date on the 18th of November. It is important that we do make a decision in relation to our legal protection. It's looking like we will need to essentially we're going to revoke part of we're going to in terms of our legal protection we're going to revoke the 200-meter um, rule because we need to be able to access this because like our legal protection what wasn't against the other party's church in any way, shape, or form. It was our legal protection has been to address transphobic bullying, bullying, which is the real issue. So for our part, we've been very clear all the way down the line um, why we had to go to court in order to put a stop to it. But at the same time, um, there was no justification, if there ever was, for there to have been a cross claim lodged in response in retaliation to wanting transphobic bullying to stop happening to us. So and I've got no in terms of I've got no regrets in doing doing whatever is legally necessary to make this church a safe space for everybody body I have done so I've done so um, I've done so without attacking churches because essentially, I believe that look, religion is not to blame for transphobia and bullying, but is the actions of individuals um, who who need to take responsibility for their actions. that's where we stand. That's where we stand at the moment. The second announcement that I have is thanks to Charles Sturt University granting us the grant. We have been able to successfully get a replacement laptop that we're being able to live stream from. We've also been able to replace our printer technology, that with a much cheaper printer, that is affordable, reliable, that is a scanner, photocopier, and printer, all in one multifunction, and which has meant we've been able to because essentially the previous equipment that we had, it was broken, run down, not working. So essentially, it's meant that grant money that we've been granted from the university has meant we've been able to essentially replace all the technology in our church that hasn't been working, and that has broken down and needs to be replaced. So we've been able to do that, and it's also meant that we've also been able to, for the first time in the history of CLACCA ULC, I was able to pay for our church copyright license out of a donation. So that's the first time without it having to come out of my disability support pension. So that was really good news. Because I tell you what, like, you try, because unfortunately, like, our church, we don't get government sponsorship. We don't get government or corporate sponsorship. So we have to rely on the donations of people. And I don't get any minister's wages. And so I have to rely on donations to pay the bills, and when the donations don't come in, it comes out of my pocket. It comes out of my pocket, which effectively means I then have to go without basic necessities in life. Yeah, it was good. It was good, the fact that I was able to our church was able to pay a bill out of donation money, which is really good. Which is how, like, our church has continued to run, because we really, like, we don't get government funding and we don't get corporate sponsorship. We very much do rely on community donations. But anyway, I'll talk about more that in the offerings in terms of what you can do to donate to help keep our church going, etc. The other important announcement is check out the Pride and Protest Facebook page, I think, and the Car Sydney Facebook page. I believe that there may be another protest coming up for rights. I will post a notice about that on the CLACCA ULC Facebook page. I know just this previous week there was a successful campaign down at Sydney Uni both Wednesday and Thursday. I heard the rally went really well. But my advice to you is just continue to check the Car Sydney Facebook page and the Pride and Protest page for continued protests in relation to transgender rights, And likewise, also check out the CLACCA ULC Facebook page for updates in relation to that. That and that, and I think that is just about all the announcements that we have. Oh, probably one more important announcement. We are doing communion, so make sure that you have your bread and grape juice ready, and we will be doing that. So today's message message that I wanted to talk to you about today is the message of in relation to the message of friendship, not servants. And the reason I got called to preach, preach on that is because and this message comes from Acts 19 6. Yeah, so this message, as I was saying before, comes from Acts 10 25 to 26, therefore 44 to 48, and 1 John 4 7 10, and John 15 9 to 17. And the reason message today is because I think it's important as friendship and servants. So being a good friend, um, uh, yeah, friend. So I'll address what the message says, and then I will do a bit of a reflection on why I chose to preach this message today. So throughout the session, the liturgy of the church has presented us with all accounts of the risen Jesus' appearances. Then it has reminded us of the gospel passages celebrating the meaning of the victory over death, love. The 15th chapter of John is marked by the tenderness of the Lord in my love. It is the same as the love of the parent for me in 15:10 and 12. This must be the source of our joy in 15:11. Jesus expresses this word of relationships with one word: friendship. Being Christians means being the Lord's friend. Friend, not servant. Servants do things because they receive an order, not because they know and share their master's thoughts in 15:15. The servant's relationship is cold and formal. A friend's conduct comes with presupposes communication. Our having made our own the objectives and feelings of the person we appreciate and love. The warmth of friendship implies sharing with which creates equality and breaks down the categories of domination and servitude. Love can exist only among equals. Our Christian life lies in our ability to make others our friends. If we cling to an alleged or apparent superiority, considering others inferior to ourselves, we will not be able to share the gospel with them in Acts 10:26. Christian solidarity is never impersonal. There will be no commitment to the poor and oppressed if there is no friendship with them. It is only in friendship that we abide in love. The Lord tells us that God calls us friends, because I have made known to you everything I have found from my parent in verse 15. In 15:15, God has shared with The profound motivations of this testimony. God has made us God equals. In other words, God has shared God knows with us that God is love in 1 John 4:8. This is in this is to know God. In the Bible, knowing God means loving God. This is to know God. God chose us, and love is our response to God's free and gratuitous initiative in verse 15-16. Whoever does not love does not know God in 1 John 4:8. That love has to bear fruit in 15-16. The parent manifests God's love by sending us God's son, daughter, child, Jesus. Now we and we're back. My apologies about that. We had a slight hiccup. Hiccup. So I will just go back to where we briefly got interrupted. So, essentially, so far we've talked about God's love of friendship. So, essentially, friend, not servant. Friend, not servant. Servants do things because they receive an order, not because they know and share their master's thoughts in 15:15. The servant's relationship is cold and formal. A friend's conduct comes from within. Friendship presupposes communication, one having made our own the objectives and feelings of the person we appreciate and love. Warmth of friendship implies a sharing which creates equality and breaks down the categories of domination and servitude. Love can exist only among equals. Our Christian life lies in our ability to make others our friends. If we cling to an alleged or apparent superiority, considering others inferior to ourselves, we will not be able to share the gospel with them. In Acts 10:26. Christian solidarity is never impersonal. There will be no commitment to the poor and oppressed if there is no friendship with them. It is only in friendship that we will abide in love. The Lord tells us that God calls us friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my parents, in verse 15:15. God has shared with us the profound motivations of God's testimony. God made us equals. In other words, God has shared what God knows with us, that God is love, in verse 1 in 1 John 4:8. This is to know God. In the Bible, knowing God means loving God. The primary reason for that is that God is love. God chose us and loved us. Love is our response to their free and gratuitous initiative in 15:16. Whoever does not love does not know God, in 1 John 4:5. That love has to bear fruit, in 15:16. The parent manifests God's love by sending us God's Son, in 1 John 4:9. Now we understand God's commandment better, love one another, in 15:17. This is a way to respond to God's love for us. Those who involve themselves with the needs and aspirations of others are close to God. God shows us no partiality, but in every nation, anyone who fears God and does what is right is acceptable to God. In Acts 10:35, the work of God's friends is to live equality and to practice what is right. In this is love, in 1 John 4:10. And the simple message of this loving God and friendship doesn't mean a slave, and doesn't mean tolerating being treated differently. The truth of real friendship with God also means equality with others. Because equality with God means equality with humanity. Our next song. Okay, so and now we're going to go to our next song of praise. As I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders.
So sad, the tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through, 'cause I've seen the dark side too. When the night falls on you, you don't know what to do. Nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all
And now it's time for communion. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, Jesus took a loaf of bread and broke it and said, "This is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after supper, Jesus took the cup and said, "This cup is a new covenant of my blood, which is poured out for you. Do this in remembrance of me." This table does not belong to the states. It doesn't belong to the church. It belongs to God, and all are welcome to the table. Please come and share in this meal. And I'm just going to put my arm down because it's hurting. And our next song of praise is "If Not Us, Who" by Tash Holmes.
Already I hear the music, the victory drawing near. Freedom has arrived, rejoice. And from my lips a cry of praise. Here I am, send me out. Give me strength enough to lift my voice and shout against poverty, honestly, against the injustice in our society. Let this to us be true. If not us, who? Already I hear the laughter of hungry souls starved no more. I have changed forever my ways, so I am no longer afraid. Here I am, send me out. Give me strength enough to lift my voice and shout against poverty, honestly, against the injustice in our society. Let this to us be true. If not us, who? Here I am, send me out. Give me strength enough to lift my voice and shout against poverty,
And if you would, welcome back. That was Tash Holmes by If Not Us, But Who. You would like to donate to CLACCA Universal Life Church. Without your generous donations, we couldn't do donations to keep us going. And I'm not just talking about financial support, but also the act of solidarity. The whole reason why we keep doing CLACCA ULC keeps doing this is both for God and the people because we are a world changing church, and to donate to our fighting funds to funds to because currently in Australia, the Universal Life Church, we can legally register our ordinations in Australia. When we've completed training requirements, but at a Commonwealth level and not at the state level. Level, and we need to fight to keep. We need to fight to become a recognised church. Church. Part of that fight is campaigning to revoke the religious exemptions from the Anti-Discrimination Act. The other part of the fight for us to become a legally recognised church in Australia is also stamping out transphobic bullying, standing up for survivor justice, standing up for transgender rights. And but it also means being able to legally register, as well as being able to cover the costs, because otherwise, as I said at the beginning, of this, without your generous donations, it essentially in terms of paying the bills, it winds up coming out of my own pocket. And for the first time, we were able to pay our church copyright license today. Without out of church donation money, without me having to pay for it out of my own pocket. So anything you can financially donate, donate, because it does to establish to legally register a church. Unfortunately, to legally register a church in Australia, there are a few minimum things that you do have to do. In terms of one, we have to legally register our ordinations, and we also have to have what they call a church copyright license in order to live stream our church services. We also have to have public liability insurance. We also have to have a current working with children check as well. In order to keep our church a safe church, as well as a whole host, as well as weekly communion, etc. Something we are something that we are considering exploring is exploring that our church is currently doing is recycling. So essentially, we collect cans. We collect cans and bottles, and we take that, and that helps to cover the costs of weekly communion. But essentially, we currently don't have it would be good. It would be good if we one. It would be good if we could afford to rent a weekly Sunday church space. Given the factor that with COVID restrictions opening up now. And also the other important factor that we do is house transformations in helping people who live in affordable housing do house transformation in helping to transform people's lives is without your generous support that wouldn't be possible. So anything you can donate, financially donate, would be to the work and life of CLACCA ULC. That would be great. The details are on screen where you can financially donate at CLACCA Universal Life Church, BSB 112879, account number 495 470 290. Or you can donate at gofund.me/6D910 E99. And that's all on financially donating. Our next song of praise that we're going to be sharing in is Same Love by Macklemore.
When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay, cause I could draw. My uncle was, and I kept my room straight. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K. Trippin'. Yeah, I guess she had a point, didn't she? Bunch of stereotypes all in my head. I remember doing the math, like, yeah, I'm good at Little League. A preconceived idea of what it all meant. But those that like the same sex had the characteristics. The right-wing conservatives think it's a decision, and you can be cured with some treatment and religion. Man-made rewiring of a predisposition, playing God. Oh nah, here we go. America the brave still fears what we don't know. And God loves all his children, it's somehow forgotten. But we paraphrase a book written 3,500 years ago. I don't know.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm.
If I was gay, I would think hip-hop hates me. Have you read the YouTube comments lately? Man, that's gay, gets dropped on the daily. We become so numb to what we're saying. A culture founded from oppression. Yeah, we don't have acceptance for 'em. Call each other faggots behind the keys of a message board. A word rooted in hate, yet our genre still ignores it. Gay is synonymous with the lesser. It's a the same hate that's caused wars from religion, gender to skin color, the complexion of your pigment. The same fight that led people to walkouts and sit-ins. It's human rights for everybody. There is no difference. Live on and be yourself. When I was at church, they taught me something else. If you preach hate at the service, those words aren't anointed. That holy water that you soak in has been poisoned. When everyone else is more comfortable remaining voiceless rather than fighting for humans that have had their rights stolen. I might not be the same, but that's not important. No freedom till we're equal. Damn right I support it. Press play, don't press pause. Progress march on, with the veil over our eyes. We turn our back on the cause, till the day that my uncles can be united by law. When kids aren't walking around the hallway, plagued by pain in their heart. A world so hateful, some would rather die than be who they are. And a certificate on paper isn't gonna solve it all, but it's a damn good place to start. No law is gonna change us. We have to change us. Whatever God you believe in, we come from the same one. Strip away the fear, underneath it's all the same love. About time that we raised up.
I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is kind. Not crying on Sundays. Patient. Not crying on Sundays. 'Cause I'm not crying on Sundays. Patient. Not crying on Sundays. 'Cause I'm not crying on Sundays. Patient. Not crying on Sundays. 'Cause I'm not crying on Sundays. Patient. Love is kind.
That's all from CLACCA ULC. Thank you very much for joining us, and see you next week. God bless. CLACCA ULC is here from 5 p.m. Every Sunday, and also 3 p.m. For home group Bible studies. That's all for now. Thank you very much for joining us. God bless, and see you next week. Bye for now.